For more than a decade, Marcos Ambrose held the record as the most successful foreign-born driver in NASCAR's second division. On Saturday, Shane van Gisbergen erased that record in less than half the starts it took Ambrose to set it, and he did it while warning the rest of the field that his real car still is not ready. If you follow NASCAR drama, driver feuds, and the storylines that decide championships, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next 24 hours at Sonoma could reshape the entire season. The win came on Saturday, June 27, 2026, in the Pit Boss FoodMaxx 250 NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Sonoma Raceway. Shane van Gisbergen started from the pole in the number 9 JR Motorsports Chevrolet and never gave the rest of the field a real chance. He led 66 of 79 laps and crossed the finish line 1.324 seconds ahead of runner-up Connor Zilisch. It was his 6th career win in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, his 2nd of this season, and his 13th victory overall as a NASCAR driver. The strategy was simple and ruthless. He short-pitted the second stage on lap 43 to regain the top spot after the stage break, then went into fuel-saving mode and managed the gap to the finish. When it was over, Shane van Gisbergen was honest about how the race actually felt to watch. "Sorry it wasn't the most exciting. I guess boring's good when you're the one leading," he said after executing his signature rugby ball kick celebration. He added a line about the machine underneath him. "What an amazing car. To lead like that, the car was so good the whole race. It's great to get another one for these guys." He also described how the day unfolded from the green flag. "Pretty amazing day. Right from the start, I could feel that the changes of the car were better and was able to manage the gap at the start. For Connor Zilisch, who had to come from the rear of the field twice to finish second, the result was frustrating. A caution, or something to bunch us back up, would have been nice," Zilisch said. Now to the record itself, because this is the part that puts the day into historical context. Shane van Gisbergen came into the weekend level with Marcos Ambrose, who won 5 times between 2008 and 2014 across 77 starts. 5 of those road course wins came at Watkins Glen, with his only other triumph at Montreal in 2011. Van Gisbergen has now beaten that benchmark, and the gap in efficiency is what sells the achievement. Ambrose needed 77 starts to record his 5 wins. Van Gisbergen has 6 wins in just 39 starts. He now stands alone as the most successful foreign-born NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series driver in history, and he is also the first driver ever to claim 6 wins in the series on a road course. There is still a ceiling above him, and it is worth naming so the achievement stays grounded. AJ Allmendinger holds the record for the most NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series road course race wins with 11 to his name. So while Shane van Gisbergen has surpassed the foreign-born mark, the all-time road course record in the series remains out of reach for now. That record was only half the story heading into Sunday, because Van Gisbergen also has a piece of Cup Series history sitting directly in front of him. A win in the Toyota/Save Mart 350 would tie him with Chase Elliott at 7 road course victories in the NASCAR Cup Series, which would place him equal second on the all-time list. Only Tony Stewart with 8 and Jeff Gordon with 9 sit ahead of that mark. This is what raised the stakes for Sunday. It was not simply another race on the calendar. For Shane van Gisbergen, it was a genuine shot at climbing into rare company among the greatest road racers the sport has ever produced. And here is where the story takes its strangest turn. The most dominant road racer in the field spent his Saturday warning everyone that his Sunday car was not good enough. After winning the O'Reilly Series race, Van Gisbergen was asked about the handling of his number 97 Trackhouse Racing Cup car, which he had practiced and qualified earlier in the afternoon. His answer was blunt. "My car was pretty subpar, to put it nicely," he said. "We definitely need to improve it." It was a bit of a struggle, really. Obviously, we were pretty reasonable out of Group 1. People smoked us in Group 2. We need to make some improvements, but in the areas we can adjust, we can make big improvements. To understand why that admission should worry the rest of the field instead of reassuring it, you have to look at last year. At Sonoma in 2025, Shane van Gisbergen led 97 of 110 laps in one of the most dominant Cup performances at the track in recent memory. So even if his car this year is only half as strong as it was a year ago, that still places him among the favorites. And van Gisbergen himself made it clear he expects to find more speed before the green flag. "We've had bad cars before and made them come alive on Sunday," he said. "Pretty confident my guys can make it better. Should be a bit of fun trying to move forward." That is the warning shot. A driver this strong at road courses, calling his car subpar while still expecting to fight forward, is exactly what makes him dangerous. There was another moment from the weekend that traveled well beyond the racetrack, and it involved Formula One. Shane van Gisbergen has found it easy to sell NASCAR to outsiders, because he used to be one himself, having made the jump from Australian supercars 3 years ago. When he talks to people who do not follow the sport, he leans on one core idea. As a motorsport, you don't know who's going to win, whereas you watch F1, there's 3 guys who are going to win, he said. He continued, "I think our sport is really cool. Even at a road course, there's 10 guys who can win. I think that's really cool, how many different storylines there are this week in our sport." He framed himself as the kind of person who can bridge that gap. "That's why it's cool going to new places and seeing new people," he said, before adding plainly, "I think our sport is really awesome." That ambassador role connects to a number from the previous weekend. At the inaugural race at Naval Base Coronado, NASCAR said the event was attended by 67% of ticket buyers who had never gone to a race before. Van Gisbergen sees those new audiences as the entire point of going to unfamiliar places, and he believes the unpredictability of the racing is what keeps them watching. Sunday also carried a second layer of pressure, because the Toyota/Save Mart 350 opened the NASCAR In-Season Challenge. This is a 5-race bracket-style tournament with $1 million on the line for the winner, and it begins with 16 head-to-head matchups, with the highest finisher in each pairing advancing. The first-round matchup for Shane van Gisbergen was against Ryan Preece, and the two of them already have history building up. They spent parts of the Pocono race exchanging gestures out of the window. Then they made contact a couple of times at San Diego, once initiated by each driver. Preece has been keeping the rivalry alive online ahead of the tournament. Van Gisbergen kept the tone light when asked about it. "I see he's been getting pretty lippy online, so that's a little fun," he said. He went on, "We were giving each other's the other day from Pocono when he was throwing signs at me. He is a good dude. We had a little tussle last week and threw a C move on me and half spun me, so I got him back." He then set expectations for Sunday. "I look forward to it. It's cool that there is something else to focus on. He's been going really well at his road courses this year, so I'm sure I'll see him on Sunday, and it will be a tough but fair battle and see who gets to the next round. I look forward to it." Underneath all of this sits the most urgent piece of the story. Shane van Gisbergen entered Sunday below the playoff cut line. His trouble traces back to San Diego, where he elected not to take stage points and then paid the price when he was wrecked during a restart. He explained the gamble afterward. "That's always the tough thing. You want to score stage points, but then you can bury yourself in the pack. You can't really strategize around it," van Gisbergen said. "We were at the front of the pack last week and it happened. So it's just one of those things. That's racing, and in the Cup Series, it's crazy. Because Sonoma was the final road course of the season. It represented his best remaining chance to climb back above the line on the kind of track where he is at his strongest." Around the central storyline, the rest of the weekend gave the field plenty to chase. Ty Gibbs claimed the pole for Sunday with a lap of 1:14.829, edging Carson Hocevar by just 0.025 seconds for the top starting spot in the number 54 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. Kyle Larson qualified third, Michael McDowell fourth, and Ross Chastain fifth, which left Shane Van Gisbergen starting sixth, despite being the pre-race favorite. Ty Gibbs spoke about the difference between the 2 days. "The reruns are just super weird here," Gibbs said. "Sometimes you can go a lot faster, sometimes you don't. I felt like I just had some more speed out there. The car is really fast this weekend, and we're really excited to race tomorrow." Qualifying also produced trouble for Bubba Wallace, who crashed within the first few minutes of his group session. He dipped a wheel at the exit of turn 10, lost control, and slammed nose first into the wall, suffering significant front-end damage and forcing a move to a backup car for Sunday. Then there was Christopher Bell, who confirmed he would run the full race distance while recovering from a fractured wrist suffered in a Michigan crash 3 weeks earlier. He had stepped out of his car midway through the previous weekend at Naval Base Coronado, but he made his intentions clear this time. "I feel I'm not getting out of this one," Bell said. He described the real challenge of driving with the injury. "I feel very clunky and very unorthodox with the cast on my arm and not being able to just move the wheel as quickly and as sharply as I am accustomed to. But I don't really have any pain. So here is what it all comes down to. The most dominant road racer in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Just broke a record that stood since the Marcos Ambrose era. Took a clear shot at Formula One, and then told everyone his Sunday car needs work, and the field should be worried anyway. He starts 6th in the Toyota/Save Mart 350. He sits below the playoff cut line. He has a $1 million tournament opening against a rival he just tangled with, and he has a chance to tie Chase Elliott for the second most road course wins in Cup Series history. The only question left is whether he can turn a subpar car and a 6th-place starting spot into history and a climb back above the cut line. If you want to know how this story ends, drop a comment with your prediction for the Toyota/Save Mart 350. Hit the like button and subscribe so you do not miss the result and everything that follows for Shane Van Gisbergen, Ryan Preece, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, and Bubba Wallace.